Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Critting Your Role, an actor's guide to role playing your character. Like I said in my previous few episodes, the next 3 episodes are all going to be about warm ups. Um, from a performer standpoint, warming up is one of the most important aspects of the kind of pre-show that you can do. And it's true in every creative field, whether it's acting or singing or playing your instrument. I mean, the term warming up, I'm not 100% sure where it comes from, but I do know specifically with instruments, especially I went to high school and middle school and quite a bit of elementary school in Wisconsin, where it would get exceedingly cold outside. And so if you brought your instrument in from the cold, um, as you breathe, as you blew hot air through it from your lungs and played with it, and the instrument itself would physically warm up. The saxophone is made of metal; it conducts heat very well. So just by holding it and playing it, the instrument itself physically warmed up and actually changed not only the pitch of the entire instrument itself. You couldn't technically tune the instrument until it was warmed up, but it would also change the timbre or like the color of the sound and everything. You know, all these things are really important. So warm ups in general, incredibly important. So again, going with the theme that I tend to do, where we start physical, then vocal, then acting theory. This week is a physical thing, and physical warm ups for doing something when you're generally sitting down. Um, are a little bit different than, let's say, warm ups that I would do if I was playing a role on stage or something like that. And physically, one of the best things in the world you can do is to warm up your face. Because you don't have as much of a body to communicate body language with, your face is going to be your primary communicator for non-verbal communication. And because of that, having a more limber face, having a more expressive face is very, very useful. Um, it's useful in any time you're going to be dealing with things like this, but warming up your face and your mouth and things like that are really, really a good idea. So I have to take my glasses off for this because if I don't, the glasses actually get in the way. So get my luscious locks out of the way. So the first thing, the first warm up that generally tends to be pretty good to get your face ready to do a lot of different emotes is you basically just scrunch the entirety of your face down, kind of like you sucked on a lemon or something. You just kind of feel like your entire face is being pulled into right below your nose, which is kind of the center of your face. So you kind of squeeze just for this, and then if you, and then I can't actually do that while I'm scrunching. And then you open it up as wide as physically possible. Open your mouth. And just by doing that, you warm up a lot of muscles that you don't generally use on a regular basis. Especially if you're not a very, wow, my eye is all like freaking out right now. If you're not someone who is incredibly expressive and uses a variety of your facial muscles, a lot of your muscles will be out, kind of out of work, and they won't be used to moving around. And so when you do need to be extra expressive to play your character, then you'll run into issues. So just that little bit of I know it seems really, really silly, and it looks just really, really dumb, but it really does help because now you guys may notice that I'm speaking a little bit clearer, um, especially if you're going to be using some sort of an accent or something like that. Warming up not just your lips and everything, but your tongue and the muscles on the inside of your mouth that you use to kind of form words and everything like that is really important as well. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You've probably heard the Critical Role cast every so often. We'll sit there and do things like red leather, yellow leather, I'm gonna try that again. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, and things like that. Tongue twisters. They force you, first of all, to think about how you're controlling, and you notice how poorly I did that. Um, they force you to think about how you control your tongue, and you can choose your favorite. The red leather, yellow leather tends to work really well because it does work a lot of the muscles in there, and it's not so much just a tongue twister as it really does a lot of other things. But you can do, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Which is a great warm up for your lips to get them used to saying things like that. And again, each different consonant sound that you repeat. She sells seashells by the seashore. Another really, really great one because it's using different parts of your tongue, different parts. So again, warming up the whole face itself by scratch down really, really hard, and then wide open. Doing that a few times and then going through some tongue twisters will really help to build up and warm up the muscles here so that they work the way that you want them to. The most annoying thing in the world, especially for me as a dungeon master, is if I don't warm up correctly before a show, I can drop accents, I can try doing accents, or I can try doing descriptive text and things like that, and then I trip over myself over and over and over again, and it becomes incredibly frustrating because all I want to do is say this thing, but, I keep tripping over my tongue or all these other things. So, these different warm-ups are really, really great for getting you physically ready to do your role playing at the table. The other thing I want to mention is the absolute first episode of this series that I did was about posture. And something I have to mention, since we're talking about warm-ups, is the idea that if you are using a posture that you are not used to using, whether that's really good posture where you're having perfect posture, or whether you're hunched over for your character or you're doing like an abnormal, remember when you are using muscles that you're not normally using, they're going to hurt. They're going to protest the fact that you're using them. So some quick things, like if your shoulders are hurting, just some quick shoulder stretches. Nothing like, you don't want to sit there and like bounce it or something like that or anything. You just want to very slowly bring it around. You should feel your shoulder stretching, your back stretching, all that. In general, when I'm teaching like self-defense or something like that, I will mention there are two kinds of pain you're going to feel while doing this. One kind of pain is your muscles protesting doing something that they're not used to doing. Generally, that's kind of an ache or something like that. That pain is normal. You need to just get used to it. It will eventually, as you do it more, go away. There's a second type of pain you might feel. It's going to be a sharp pain. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable. That is your body telling you you are doing something you shouldn't be. If you are feeling like, if you're, holding a posture and you're noticing that your back doesn't just kind of ache, because if you're not used to having good posture and you hold really good posture for a while, your lower back will ache because what holds like your shoulders up and everything are actually the muscles down here, the latissimus dorsi, which is a big old muscle that connects up here and goes all the way down and connects to your lower back, along with other muscle groups down there. They help with your posture. And so if you're feeling a dull ache down there, that's normal. However, if while you're doing this, you start noticing a sharp pain in your back somewhere or in your side somewhere, that could point to something else significantly more serious. And at that point, you need to relax a little bit. Go back to a position that feels more comfortable for you. If it persists, talk to a doctor or something like that. But again, you should get used to the idea that by using muscles, any muscle, whether it's your tongue or your eyebrow muscles or all the muscles in your face or your shoulders or your lower back, if you use them and you don't warm them up, they're not going to like it and you can cause damage. And if you're using them and they're not used to be using, they will eventually start to ache. And so just in the middle of a session, if you're having a long session, doing a quick stretch, doing a quick, back brace or something like that, relaxing your muscles a little bit, those are all wonderful, great ways to make sure that you are not damaging what is your instrument as a role player, as an actor. And that is your body. You don't want to cause, serious damage to yourself. So, yeah, that's all for this episode, and I will see you guys. Oh, and I should probably mention, in the comments below, let me know, first of all, let me know how moronic I looked doing the whole scrunchy face thingy. Because that's always fun to hear. But let me know, first of all, if you have used any of these warm-up techniques before, and what is your favorite tongue twister to warm yourself up with? Again, I like the red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, simply because it's very difficult for me to do. So yeah, anyway, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time, all right? Bye-bye!